like the proposed outflow on various accounts is so much. Unlike companies, unlike individuals, the finance minister has the good job of saying, I will spend so much first. Most of us have to see how much money we have and then decide how much to spend. Our outflow in the year April 1 to 31st March, which is going to follow for the financial year. So this February, he is going to give you a budget of 13-14, financial year 13-14. He is going to say, my outflow is the following. You must check that in the last one, now if you want that, Google and see what the outflows are. There is a huge document, but there are also a one-page document in which the outflows would be given. The outflows would be basically what are called planned, non-planned. All these must have been done. The outflows are also on revenue. What's the other one?
Capital.
Capital. Lots of classifications have been done for various reasons, but you should know where the money is going out. This outflow has to be matched by income. Whatever you do, you cannot spend money unless you get it. Your credit card is an implicit loan given by the bank to you. So there is a cash flow implicit and then you spend. You borrow and you spend. You earn and you spend. You steal and you spend. You counterfeit notes and you spend. You have to get the money somewhere. This is practical fact. Where does the money, how do you fill this? Now let's see, this is outflow. Where does the inflow come from? The first inflow for any government, whether he is a dictator or communist or whatever, is all the mafia charges is also a kind of tax. All those pockets in India where Maoists are there, they are also imposing taxes on them. Now, let's say these taxes form part of what is called revenue. Now, you have taxes.
Non-tax revenue, public sector surplus and all.
Yeah. Non-tax revenue. The taxes, of course, are direct taxes, indirect taxes, this one, that one, but this is the major tax. Any good government would be spending this much. Why do we spend more than that? Because we are a developing economy, we want to have a faster growth, etc., etc., etc. There has to be investment in capital, there has to be investment in infrastructure. You must have heard all the stories about how we had a command economy, how we set up core sector, etc., etc. You are lucky because here now in India, everything is produced, and we also have become a source outsourced destination, and therefore it is there. We are still trying to spend. This is supposed, in India, this was supposed to be planned expenditure. 5-year plans, we will do this, we will do that expenditure. Now the criticism about whether it has been there or whether it has not been there, etc., is you should understand what is the criticism, why it is there, what are the effects on inflation, etc. Okay. Now, this is the outflow. Outflow, you have either revenue outflow or capital outflow. The difference between revenue inflow and revenue outflow is called revenue deficit. So the first thing that you have understood is revenue deficit. I am talking entirely purely from a banker, financer, from a practical attitude. If there is revenue deficit, that means government is spending more than it is earning just to survive. This is the way I look at it. Government is spending on salaries, etc. That is just to survive, more than it is earning. If there is a revenue deficit, that means that you are borrowing, you are taking money from somewhere just to survive. So, soon after budget, you will find a lot of articles, criticism, TV shows, some of them saying that revenue deficit is very high, it should not be this way. If there is a revenue deficit, that means everything is not okay with the government. It's not very healthy. This is the way practitioners look at it. Second, so you have capital revenue, we are not bothered about that. We move on to where the money comes from. If it comes from revenue, non-tax revenue, and you where does this one come? Yes, as we have defined, by and large, for all practical purposes, this is our. If you want to spend so much, if this much is the cash outflow. Remember, you have done accounts, cash outflow could be because of expenditure, P&L account, expense account, or it could be because you are acquiring assets. In this field, this is acquiring assets, this is expenses, income expense account, P&L account, and this is balance sheet assets. This is how you have to look at it to understand what it is. Now, fiscal deficit is where does this money come from? Not to forget that it has to come from somewhere. We call this bridging the fiscal deficit. You have so much money from year to year, you want to spend so much, this has to come from somewhere. The main source is cost. This is not only these days. If you study history of your work, you will find that Rothschild used to read about Rothschild. He was the first investment, most famous investment banker. He used to finance wars. He was the first hedge fund type of financier that I know of. Nobody has called him that, but he used to finance both the sides of the war. He had financed England, he had financed Napoleon. He had hedged his bet, either way he won. Financing of the government is done by public. Now, how do they do it? They borrow. And it is called public debt. Now, public borrowing, public debt, how is it done? Borrowing, as you know, you must have been taught, corporate finance is next step. In corporate finance, we will teach you. Every venture, including government, requires funds. These funds could come from your P&L, what we call revenue. The long-term funds come from either equity or debt. Equity, you don't have to repay till the venture is wound up. Debt, there is a repayment date and the interest is fixed. There is no equity in the government. Nobody owns the government. Therefore, if government wants money from public, it will be in the form of debt. and therefore it will be mainly in the form of bonds. You will study more about bonds as you learn more and more. Bonds are basically money is taken by the government and either physical scrips or demat instruments are issued. Bonds do the following. They promise an interest paid every half yearly in this case. Interest is paid every half yearly, semi-annual coupon is called. And on maturity date, you get the principal. It is something like a fixed deposit, but an instrument which is issued here is in the form of a promissory note. And this promissory note can be traded, can be sold to somebody else who can buy it. How it is sold, what it is done, and therefore there has to be a mechanism of issuing the bonds. The finance minister decides that I want 100,000 crores. They talk in that number. It's about 150,000 crores. 1,50,000 crores. It's a lot of money. So, who will issue the bonds? At what interest rate to issue the bonds? So, once you start talking about bonds, you have to start coming to the nitty-gritty. Who will do all this? In India, it is done by RBI. If MDI wants to issue bonds, we can issue bonds. We have to appoint a merchant banker. In US, they are called investment bankers. In India, we call them merchant bankers. When MDI wants to issue bonds to the public, we have to appoint a merchant banker. When the government of India wants to issue bonds to bridge this, it doesn't have to appoint, it has already appointed by law. Reserve Bank of India is the merchant banker for the government of India. Okay? Next. How much to raise? How much to raise? Let's start with this. Is equal to whatever the finance minister, the Parliament of India has approved. Okay? So this is the amount to be raised. Next, they have to decide when to issue. You cannot go and issue on 1st of April 100,000 crores bonds. Nobody will buy it. When you say it is public debt, nobody is forced to buy this. It is issued. Non-government agencies buy. Public means not government. Anybody other than government is public. So when to issue, RBI decides. Meaning it is paid. Let's say we have to issue, fiscal deficit is 120,000. Which means that every month we have to issue 10,000. Every month government of India has to issue 10,000, which means every week it has to come out with bonds of total volume 2,500 crores every week. That's how the planning is done. It is a RBI comes with what is called the calendar of issue. In the month of month of March, they come out with a calendar of issue saying that on these days, in this week, we are going to issue so much of bonds. Then the next one is maturity of the bonds. Should Government of India borrow for 1 year? Should it borrow for 20 years? Should it borrow for 30 years? There are some reasons why it is done. There is a calendar of issue, maturity date is also mentioned. In the first week of June, 10-year bonds will be issued to the face value of so much. The last one is rate. Interest rate. I've taken the Fiscal bond because it's used to like that, but it's 140 or 150,000 crores. We expect the amount to be raised this year, following year, to be much more. So these are this is the decision taken by the Reserve Bank of India on behalf of the Government of India. A little bit about the bonds. These are called sovereign bonds. Bonds issued by the U.S. Treasury, the equivalent of RBI. Here, the Federal Reserve, which is the equivalent of RBI, does not issue bonds. The U.S. Treasury Department issues bonds. U.S. Treasury, they are called. They are sovereign bonds. Bonds issued by the government of Great Britain, they are called the UK bonds, sovereign bonds. So similarly, you have sovereign bonds issued by everybody. The only competition that is there in the world right now is the Eurozone. The Euro currency area, they all issue bonds. The individual countries issue bonds. But study why the bonds issued by Greece are different from the bonds issued by the Government of India. These are also called, please remember, I don't know, I have come a little late, I should have come on the first day and told you, in business education, in MBA, everything is not told to you. We'll go on mentioning, check out this one, it's up to you to check out. We'll teach you what is required for you to think. You have to think, you have to Google, you have to find out. For example, you must find out the answer. I'll tell you the question later. One, Government of India bonds. What does this mean? RBI has facilitated the issue of Government of India bonds. It advertises. It has to be gazetted, it is advertised in the gazette, they decide when to issue, at what rate to issue, what maturity to be issued, how it will be issued, all this will be given to the public and the invite bids, will come to that little later. But the fact remains that the borrower is the Government of India, and that's why it's called sovereign bonds, and in finance, in the market, these are zero risk. Zero default risk. You will, next year, if you take electives in finance, you will read, you will study, discuss that the Government of India bonds are taken, it is accepted, it is given that there will not be any default. There are many other risks. At this point for you, if you know that zero risk means that a person who invests in Government of India bonds can be sure that the interest and the principal will be paid on time by the Government of India through the Reserve Bank of India. Okay? This is why these are called zero risk bonds. However, for the last year or so, we are all grappling with bonds issued by the government of Greece. It's a government. They are sovereign bonds, but there is a default. I think I leave it at that. Find out the answer. Otherwise, you ask monitoring to start breathing and get somebody to talk about it. I don't think there are any events of monitoring other than certificates being issued. Okay? Why? Why Government of India bonds are zero risk? Because they can always borrow more, or they can, in layman's language, print money. Government of India is the sole or the most major authority in India which can raise taxes. So to pay this, they will raise taxes and pay. It's a very funny situation. Some kind of convoluted Robin Hood beats me, takes the money and pays it back. That's why you should understand the interlinkages between markets, your individual earning, your tax paying, what tax is levied, and what non-planned, non-thing is spent by government. Yeah? I am the finance minister. This year I have to pay 80,000 crores.